Now, this story is about our experience with childbirth. We have 5 children. The oldest is 8 and the youngest is 1. 4 of them are deaf, and the second to oldest is hearing. She's a girl. To clarify, the second oldest is a boy. The youngest is a boy as well. Okay, we have a lot of kids. I guess I messed that one up. So now can you explain what happened? Yeah, when I was growing up, I always wanted to become a mother. I would always play with babies. And, when I wanted kids, I wasn't sure. But my husband and I discussed and planned, about the money we were saving, trying to work it all out with work and everything. Whoa. And then I found out I was pregnant. I thought, what do we do? We're pregnant. Oh, he said, don't worry, we'll figure it out. And I forgot, we're not married, but, he was very excited, and, he was thinking really positive. It was a little different, but it was fine. So the pregnancy was a little, awkward. I would go to the OBGYN, the woman's doctor, and, he was a man, and I was really looking for a woman, and he said that there were 5 other woman doctors around. And then I was discussing my birth plan, what I wanted that day to look like, and we discussed it. We made our notes, and discussed how he would cut the cord, and I wanted a natural birth. I thought that was fine, and I showed it to the doctor, and they made this funny face, and they're like, no, no, no. And we looked at each other like, what's wrong? And we realized we read a book before about making our own, birth plan, what would work out the best for us. And, we thought this was perfect. And then we showed our doctor, and we're like, well, what's wrong with this? And he said, no, you can't do that. The birth plan has to be written by a doctor. It's not something you can just make up. So So 41 weeks, about 42 weeks. They started to induce labor, and, it was early in the morning, and I got up and went to the doctor. No, I went to the hospital, right? Yeah, I went to the hospital. And my mother was with us, and, so we all went together. She was trying to help figure out what we would do, and his sister, who has interpreted a little bit, was there as well. So, at the end, it was the wrong shot, the wrong medicine. I don't know. And it finally worked. Finally, settled, she started having contractions. Seems like the labor inducing finally worked, so it was time to head over. And they're like, oh, it's important that you breathe. You too, you have to breathe too. It was like 1, 2 counts we were breathing in. I don't know, I can't remember. Yeah, it was 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, that's what it was. 1, 2, 3. And both of our mothers were in the room with us. It was a large room, so there was room for everybody, and everybody was sitting and waiting and watching and counting 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and helping her breathe. And, I didn't have any pain at that time yet. So it was natural up to that point. And we were breathing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And everybody was like, focus on counting. Keep track of time. Just focus on counting the breathing. And I was like, all right, okay, I'm sorry. And I kept counting and helping her breathe. And, I felt a little high from all the breathing. And, I just kept it going. It felt a little funny. And finally, I had to give up and give in to an epidural. So it was getting into the evening, and that's when she had the epidural. And, my dream was really to have a natural birth plan. I researched the epidural, and I know it will help with pain, but I was trying to avoid it. And then the pain finally dissolved, and what happened in the morning? I was smiling. I was a different woman. My husband looked at me like, "Whoa, you look different." And the epidural changed it, but the struggle kept going all that day as well. And do you remember why? And the nurse had just finished her shift, so they were having a shift change, and the nurses and doctors were discussing things that were completely off topic, like, where do you go to school and everything, and I see them struggling, trying to get the head out, and then finally the head was out, and oh my gosh, it was our baby. Oh my gosh, I didn't, know if it was a boy or anything. I just saw the head, and then, the body came out, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's a girl. And, they took it to the baby room and they inspected it, making sure everything was okay. And then they sewed her back up and then brought the baby back in. So for about 30 minutes, I didn't have my natural birth, but it got a little messed up. But I thought it was a boy, but it was a girl. And when they were finished sewing me up, I was really cold, I was frozen. I needed a lot of warm blankets on me. And then I saw the baby girl and I started crying. And they said, your, baby girl passed the hearing test. And then they were like, oh, that's right, you're deaf.